I am Miss Hill and I'm here to say, let's open a book and read today. Books are hip, they're cool, books will help you in school. If you read with me, here's what we'll do. I find reading fun with you. Hi, I'm Miss Hill and I'm here to say, let's read together every day.
Sally Mitts finds a home. The story of a shy shelter kitten, written and illustrated by Shain Stodt. When Sally was still a kitten, her family moved to a new house. All the animals were packed in a truck, the dogs, the cats, and Iggy the mouse. But Sally hid from the noise and the rush, and then very suddenly there was a huge hush. The house was empty. Sally was alone. Even her food dish was gone. She looked in the pantry. No food there. Not a treat, not a kibble, not the tiniest nibble. This wouldn't do. A kitten must eat. She'd have to be brave and look outside for a treat. Sally stretched her little legs up and pushed on the dog door. It was heavy, but she pushed hard, pushed until she was paw sore, until the door cracked open and she wriggled on through. Then she opened her eyes wide to look at something quite new. She was in the garden. There were bees buzzing noisily, bringing food to their queens, and beautiful blossoms turning into fat beans. Moths and butterflies drank nectar from flowers. Worms turned up the soil for hours and hours. Sunflowers soaked in the warm rays of light. Everything everywhere was lively and bright. "Look, it's a kitten!" called a man walking two dogs. "Maybe she's lost," said a woman wearing red clogs. "Poor little thing!" The woman knelt and spoke sweetly to Sally, but when she tried to pet her, Sally ran away. She ran like the wind, to the woman's dismay. She ran past strange houses, down streets twisting and turning, past big cars honking horns, till her tired legs were burning. Sally was lost. It was scary. She thought about hiding, but she was also curious about the world around her. Everywhere new things seemed to surround her. She sniffed and explored and played with butterflies. Around every bend and corner there was a surprise. She met bushy-tailed squirrels who chattered from a tree. One tossed her a nut the size of a pea. All day Sally walked a long, winding way. By night she was hungry and tired. When she saw a house that looked a bit like her home, she crept up the steps and lay down with a moan. Then our tired little kitten went right to sleep, without even a yawn or a small goodnight peep. And because she had run so fast and so far, Sally didn't hear when her family came back calling, "Where are you, dear?" They put up pictures of her with a telephone number. They were putting one up when Sally started to slumber. And then they went far away. When Sally woke up, she was in a warm box, nestled in a bed of fuzzy old socks. There was water and food in bowls made of wood. She ate it right up. It tasted so good. Over the box a person looked down. "I found you asleep. My name is Lee Sing. I'll take you to the shelter, you poor little thing." Sally was getting tired of hearing "poor little thing." She thought it had an irritating ring. She did not like the shelter either, not one little bit. She was in an awful cage that was brightly lit next to strange cats who eyed her without even a blink. No, not a meow, or a sniff, or even a wink. Then Sally felt a warm nudge. What was this? One of the cats was rubbing against her. Right through the cage she felt his soft fur, and he made the sweetest sound, a low rumbling purr. She pressed back against him, snuggling as close as she could. This was much better. This felt so good. His name was Charlie the Tailless, and they became friends. It was such a good feeling not feeling alone. It was so much nicer having a chum. It made the shelter feel a lot less glum. Charlie had never had a family. He was born in an alley and ate restaurant leftovers with his sister named Callie. Charlie had lost most of his tail, but he flicked his stub as fast as any cat. And you can tip your hat to that. One day, a woman stopped at Charlie's cage, and the shelter's keeper opened the door. The keeper's name was Jack-a-lore. When the woman put her hand out for Charlie to smell, Jack-a-lore waited for Charlie to rebel. But when Charlie rubbed her hand with his soft cheek, Jack-a-lore snorted a surprised little squeak. Then the woman picked Charlie up and kissed him on his head. Rubbing his ears, she lovingly said, "Will you come home with me and live on the sea, my sweet Charlie?" So Charlie went home with the woman whose name was Ellie B. Oat, where she and Charlie lived together on a big, happy houseboat. Now Charlie had a family. His sister Callie was there, along with a pigeon, a dog, 5 rabbits, 3 gerbils, and a sweet Millie the hog. Queen Ellie Belly Oat. Sally was so glad, but she missed Charlie, and that made her a little bit sad. The keepers gave her his basket, which was a bright, cheery red, but next door there was still a very empty bed. Sometimes people stopped at Sally's cage. She saw them through a frightened haze. When she heard their footsteps in the hall, she would turn away, curling into a ball. My, they would sigh. She's too shy. No one will adopt her. She's not friendly, they would say. Poor little thing, and go far away. But then a quiet man stopped in front of Sally's cage, and he didn't go away. Although she scrunched into a tiny ball, the man waited half the day. And when Sally finally peeked at him, he slowly blinked at her, just like a friendly cat. Without even thinking, Sally blinked back. Jack-a-lore came over smiling. "Sally, this is Fred Mitz," he said. "I think you two will like each other. This guy here's my best friend's brother." Jack-a-lore opened Sally's door. She took one step, and then another, fighting an urge to duck for cover. At the edge of her cage, she looked down. It was a long way. Should she try to jump and run away, or trust Jack-a-lore and choose to stay? Then Sally looked up. Gently, the man reached out his hands. She sniffed them. They smelled warm and safe, like a strawberry tart. And when Sally stepped into his hands, the man folded her to his heart. She snuggled under the folds of his coat while he hummed a tender, soothing note. And that is where she stayed while Fred took her far away. His apartment was full of new sights and smells, with space to run and play. There were balls to chase and a basket of her own, and sunny windows to lie in all day. And that night there was a warm, cozy bed where Sally cuddled with her new friend Fred. As she drifted to sleep, he stroked her fur until a small, steady sound grew inside of her. A happy purr. Sally was home. Sally. And here is the author and illustrator. Thank you so much for writing this book and sharing it with us, Shain. The end. I am valued. I am important. I am cherished. I am valued. People come in different sizes, different colors, shapes, and names. Although we're different on the outside, inside we are just the same. Press the subscribe button to tune in for the next story time with Miss Hill. Thanks for joining me for today's Read Aloud. Remember, what makes us all different makes us special. You are so special and so loved. Thanks for joining in, and I'll see you next time.